Hi, this is not going to be a fun video, full disclosure. You can even say it's going to be boring. And yet, I believe this is something I want to share with you because I want you to improve solo. I want you to be able to improve on your own. And if you hit a certain wall, then you can ask for help. I believe that many players don't do a good job. I was that way, believe me, for years on their own. I'm going to show you how you can improve your opening play without really courses, coaches, just using lichess. Just using lichess. I'm going to show you on the examples from my own recent games. So this is my profile. And I would go to games and I would click literally the most recent game that I've played. What I believe is crucial to do, ideally after every single game that you're playing, even online, is to find an opening improvement for the next game that you're gonna play. So I played this line. Let's start from the beginning. So here, you are more than welcome to use Stockfish. You are more than welcome to use databases. For example, if you click this button over here, you would see the master's database. All free at lichess. So I play this Italian with c3 and d4. Takes an e5, d5, bishop b5, knight e4, takes bishop to b6, knight c3. I want you to know when you stop knowing the line. I'm gonna tell you, I didn't know what to do. I didn't remember. I haven't repeated this this line for months, if not years. Played queen c2 and my opponent played bishop g6. I remembered queen b3. It's the beginning of the line and my opponent played bishop a5 and I was on my own. I didn't remember what I was supposed to be doing. And here I played castles and after bishop takes, pawn takes, knight a5, queen b4, c6, bishop to e2. If my opponent were to play a move b5, I think my advantage would be minimal, if existent at all. My pawns are fixed on dark squares, the engine gives zeros, and I want, unless I would, oh wow, okay. Unless I prepare e6 as my novelty, takes, and knight goes to e5 with good compensation, but yeah, I doubt that black has problems here. The question that you need to ask and the question you need to answer, what am I doing next time better or differently or both if my opponent plays exactly the same moves? I can see zeros here, but the engine insisted that I had half a pawn advantage. Here, when my opponent took on c3, it didn't cross my mind at all. You see, I've already did some analysis as a preparation for the video. My improvement in this position would be bishop takes c6, intermediate move bishop takes c6, and I check no games in Masters Death games. All games in Masters Death games continued with the logical move b takes c. Well, lichess for my level is not very good statistically speaking. I mean, lichess average player. I'm interested in Masters database. Bishop takes c6 is an improvement on in this line. Bishop takes c6. If black takes b takes c, I'm taking b takes c. I have an advantage. Black has doubled pawns, c5 loses a pawn, and I would also look, what do I do next? But wait, it's not, if you just do it, what I'm just describing, you will forget it completely. What I would also draw, I would draw some arrows. What does the engine do next? It can go c4. In one of the lines, the engine is going c4. Okay, now it's gone. So it's going queen a3, it's going king h2, and it's going rook fe1, rook ac1. That's what the engine is doing. And then in some lines, it is going e6. You can see it right here, e6, just losing a pawn. Well, if pawn takes, you get an outpost forever on e5. So I would draw some arrows like this, and maybe e6. What do I do in the future? And that would be it. That would be my opening improvement. But you shouldn't only follow the first line of Stockfish. From human point of view, I don't like bishop takes b2. Maybe I lose a pawn. And now, for example, the engine says if you take with the queen, pawn takes, your one pawn down. You can try winning this pawn back with queen b7. This could be your line. But the line that I liked was this phenomenal move. Okay, by the way, none of this has ever happened. So we are already in a new territory on move 15. It says rook b1 is the move. whoa, what's this? If pawn takes, the idea is to take with the rook, queen is going to h3, this rook is going to c1, our rook is on the b file, white is better, we have full compensation, queen h3, rook c1, and you can see a lovely maneuver somewhere here. I noticed the knight was going to d3 and aiming for an outpost. Black has an extra pawn, we have more than enough compensation. In some lines, knight can go to h4. That would be my improvement. And if black takes, bishop takes d4, desperado bishop, knight takes, pawn takes, knight goes to c6. Anyways, you can do opening analysis using lichess and database. That is it. But the thing is, okay, I've done this analysis. In a week, in a day, in a month, I will forget about it. I will forget about it. The key ingredient that I want you to do, I want you to develop this healthy but difficult habit. Like working out. That's hard. We all know that we're supposed to be working out, and yet very few people are consistent with that. This is chess opening workout that I'm suggesting to you. So what do you do? Let's say you've done this analysis. You can actually do this analysis. I'm gonna share an export, and you can copy the PGN. You can just copy this PGN. Wait, how do I copy it? Download raw. Wait a second. I like using shortcuts. It's selected. I press Ctrl+C, and I've copied my analysis. You need to save it so that it's accessible to you at will whenever you want it. So how do you do it? I'm using professional program ChessBase. It's not very good, but that's what we're doing. But you don't have to even pay for ChessBase. You can do it at lichess. How do you do? You go to learn, study. You would go to all the studies that are out there. People are doing studies all the time. You click this plus button. You create your personalized private study. I would name it, if I were you, you create plus, you create my openings for white. That's it. You will have one study dedicated to your personal openings for white. And you click unlisted so no one can see it, and or invite only, or they're not public. Please make sure that you don't make it public. And now you start it. You start, and let's say you start with an empty board. This is your private study, and you add a new chapter, and you paste the game that we just pasted, that we just copied. I'm pasting the game, and I'm naming this chapter Italian third move, bishop c5, 4 move c3 plus d4 variation. Maybe it has a name. Whatever's the line happened in the game, if you don't have files, this is literally how you begin your opening database. You do this, you create a chapter. There you go. Your game here is the beginning, and you can delete chapter 1. We don't need it anymore. That is it. You do this one. Wait, it just copied the game without our analysis. All right. So now you can do, instead of doing it over in the game, you do it right here. You run the engine. You play with the settings. Oh, wait, you don't see the settings button. Give good settings, give search time, give multiple lines and so on. Give good settings to your engine. And now you say, next time I'm doing bishop c6, you make a main line, you put an exclamation mark. You can actually delete the rest of the game. You don't have to keep it here. You can say, make a note here. Let's make a note. This is what I played. This is what I played. And you can actually delete the rest of the game because black has b5. We think it's an equality, so we give a sign that it is equal, that black equalizes. I'm gonna promote this one and delete from here because I don't want your files to be totally messy. So you say, this is what I played, but after knight a5, c6, bishop moves, and b5, the position is equal. You can actually still try to find improvement. You can analyze here e6, knight h4 if you want to, but you leave the improvement. You are doing this. And now you do a small analysis. If pawn takes, you draw these arrows. Queen h3, rook c1, rook e1, e6. And you write that there is is an idea of e5, e6 sacrifice. I love this because queen a3, rook e1, rook c1, this is normal. There is an idea of e6 sacrifice. You can leave it at that, or you can analyze a little bit more. You can say, like, what do I do if black goes rook b8? Well, you have queen a3 attacking a pawn, and you're doing fine. The best move for black is h6. Well, that's not dangerous. That is it. And you also analyze bishop b2. That's what we discussed. Rook b1, I would say, deserves attention. You don't have to play such weird moves. I like this move. And if pawn takes, rook takes, you go queen a3, rook c1, you have compensation. And if black takes on d4, knight takes d4, pawn takes, knight c6, queen e8, rook c1, this knight is in trouble, f3 is coming, d5 is hanging. You can analyze a little bit more if you want. You stop whenever you want. But what I want you to do is now you have an improvement. Now you have an improvement, bishop c6, and then you move on. Let's go to another game. Let's stick with my white games. Let's do this one. Analysis board. The engine's running. I played a very good game, 94 accuracy, no big mistakes, and so on. So I'm happy with the game. But I want to know my opening improvement. So this was the line. So I'm just checking when my move deviated from the best or second best move in the position. Bishop e3 is good. f3 is good. Bishop e2 is good. Rook c1, the engine is happy with rook c1, d6. g4 is a good move, I like it. This is one of the ideas that I remember. Instead of castling short, I'm going to go g4. I'm going to go g4. My king stays in the center. It's shocking. Some lines, the king is literally walking to b1, but that's like rocket science at this point. g4 is the idea. My opponent played knight c6, which was a bad move. Best move for my opponent was knight fd7. Maybe I would look a little bit further. What do I do here? I go h4. I launch an attack, and I like it. I'm looking for first improvement for me. Knight d5. That was the point of rook c1. Queen goes there. Now I took on b6. All first line of the engine takes. And now this logical move castles, I spent more than 20 seconds on this move, is a mistake. I already have very big advantage, 1.6 or 1.5. But after castles, it dropped a little bit because, well, I did expect rook a b8. And so here I would also copy the game. Let's copy the game. Copy the game. And we come back to the study. Where's our study? This is our study. Italian here, my openings for white. Add new chapter. Paste it here. Name it Sicilian c4 plus a3. So that you know exactly what is in the file. Sicilian Khan or Khan Sicilian, c4 and a3. Khan with a K, my apologies. Kaya with a K. And now I'm looking for the first improvement. Maybe I would look a little bit, what do I do on knight fd7? I would look into it. The engine says h4, so actually I'm going to delete here what the automatic, it says h4, and then, oh, do you see? Okay, that's what I'm going to leave as it. Do you see at depth, higher depths, what the engine is doing? The king in some lines is walking to c1. Do you see it? King d2, king c. The king is walking to safety. This is nuts. So black goes queen d8. This is hanging, but we ignore it. You can go g5, or you can just go king d2 and you draw this arrow and you say, that blows my mind. Or you go g5 and you can analyze a little bit here. Or you can say, you can move to this moment, and this is where inaccuracy happened, castles. And now you pick the move, the first or second line of the engine. I personally like bishop e3 a little bit more. I don't get the move bishop f2. Maybe it wants to go here. So it slightly prefers bishop f2. I'm not fully on board with it, but I can understand why we need to retract the bishop. So you can say bishop f2 is an improvement. So you promote this. You say, this is what I played. My opening files are filled with my blitz game. this is what I played, and you delete the rest. I'm not interested in the rest. This is what I played. And after a rook b8, bishop d4, I didn't like this move. e5, my bishop has to go here. It's a bad bishop, I don't like it. Bishop f2, exclamation mark. But you still, okay, why? What if black plays this move? You should ask this question. And you say, the idea is now queen d2 or b4, maybe b4. And then what do I do next? You draw some arrows. Sometimes in order to know what I do next, I press this button over here. What is this threat? What is our next move? It says queen d2, bishop h4, or castles. That's it. These are the arrows that I draw. Queen d2, castles, bishop h4. These are the moves that I'm doing. This is what I'm doing next, and white has a decisive advantage. So bishop f2 would be my, on knight, knight goes here, let's say castles. And you end the file here, and that is it. You've created a file for the line. Next time you have a game in this line, it goes exactly right here. Not as a new chapter. So adding it, you won't be able to copy paste it. I don't want you to have a bunch of games. I want you to have one line or one opening in one chapter of your study. So if you play another game and there's a deviation, let's say your opponent plays something else here and your opponent plays maybe d6 here. Your opponent plays d6, you go rook c1, your opponent plays knight bd7, and then you go g4 and black goes h6. For example, this is the game that you play. You add it over here. You also say, you find the first improvement and you go for it. By the way, this h4 king walking here, super fun, dangerous line. You can analyze it if you want, or you can sometimes choose not the first line, but the third line. Do you see what the engine is doing in the third line? It's doing queen d2, h4 and king f2. Actually, it makes a little bit more sense to me. I'm scared of walking to the queen side. It's long, we can run into all kinds of trouble. Maybe you can choose the third best option from Stockfish, because 0.1, 0.2, really it's negligible. I don't even know and feel the difference of 0.2. Pick the line that you think looks more reasonable to you and make it in your file. So I'm gonna go into another tab so that we don't go back and forth. And I'm gonna show you one more example. And this was with black. This was a line that I play with white. And I lost. You can learn the most from the games that you lose, especially if the problem was in the opening. Okay, so knight c3, I'm having fun. If you want to be able to play knight c3, a little promo, there's a course at Chessable. You can find the link in the description to you can go to Chessable, or through my website you can find the course, one knight c3. But in French defense it transposes, and we have Rubinstein variation. And I play bishop e3, and my opponent played knight g4. Honestly, I was on my own here already. I didn't know what to do. I played bishop g5, bishop e7, and I played h4, and after h6, bishop moved c5, my opponent equalized, and after takes, after d takes c5, I was even worse. So on move 12, grandmaster was worse after queen b6. Such a logical move. Queen b6 attacks a pawn. How do I defend it? I would be worse. I desperately need an improvement in this game. So I'm copying it here. I'm copying the game. I can download. Download it would be as a file. So I just copy it here. And I go back to my openings for white, study, and I add a new chapter. And I French Rubinstein. Third move, d takes e4. That is it. Oh wait, I forgot to paste it. Okay, add new chapter. I don't think I can paste it right now. No, I cannot paste it. It's only when I'm adding a new chapter. So I'm gonna again add new chapter. French Rubinstein de4, and I'm pasting the game. I'm pasting the game, and this one I delete. Okay. Yes, and I don't want it to be a 0-1, but that's what happened. That's what happened. And now I'm looking for an improvement. Knight g4. What do I do? Interesting. Let me look at the database. Oh, masters play bishop d2. It's not even top 3 choice of engine. But sometimes I prefer what masters do. Bishop to, okay, you can go bishop f4. You can say bishop f4, promote improvement. You play, this is what I played. And I would say that black equalized after c5. So I'm gonna delete the rest. Delete the rest, and I'm gonna put equality. I'm gonna put equality. My opponent equalized, which is why I'm not playing bishop g5 next. And you can say next time I'm playing bishop f4, which would be a novelty in Masters database. Maybe you should analyze the move c5, because that was the point of black. Black cannot go c5 now because we just win a pawn. So knight g4, you can say bishop f4. Then you have to analyze c5. Queen e2, that's a weird move, queen e2, don't you think? Queen e2, what's this? Preparing clone castle. Or you can say bishop d2 exclamation mark. Next time I'm doing this. It's your call. Or you can say both. You can say bishop d2, Masters database. You can copy the game that if you find it interesting. The logical move is c5, and now what they do is bishop d3. They allow this, they go queen e2, and then they lawn castle and they attack. I like it. I like it. The engine likes it. The results are good. I like the chances. Let's say black develops. You can analyze a little bit further. You can say, wait, but I don't like being one pawn down. What do? You can easily analyze the moves. Rook h1, and what's next? King b1, and then if knight comes back, lovely idea, g4 exclamation mark. If they take, you open the g file, otherwise you attack. And if black plays, let's say bishop d7, reasonable move, suddenly there's bishop h7, king h7, knight g5. So you analyze a little bit, and you say, oh, okay, I know what to do next time. Many of you are probably thinking now, oh no, I have so much homework to do. Don't worry about it. I have no files. This is the algorithm. Create a study for white and create a study for black. Check your recent games. In all of them, there is an improvement. Create it. If you don't have any files, this is how you create. This game is the beginning of your file. But I want the chapter to be dedicated to broad things, like, do you see move 5 is the opening? Sicilian Khan, French Rubinstein, this move 3, 5. And then in each subline, you can you analyze the games and you find an improvement and you save it. Very, very few people are doing that. I know for a fact that there are grandmasters, I was like that weren't doing this for their classical games. Think about that. Grandmasters, I was like that. Maybe in future videos I will record this. Wouldn't find improvement in classical games. I would get in trouble in a classical game in an opening and just move on. It's so irresponsible on my part. I was just saying, I'm not going to play that line anymore. No, the solution is you finish the game and then you open Stockfish database, you find an improvement, you say thank you to your opponent for pointing out your opening problems or mistakes. You make an improvement and then you move on. Otherwise, you cannot move on. You cannot move on from a trauma, which is a loss, what a loss is, or a bad opening play, unless you deal with it. You look at the trauma, you say, okay, next time I'm doing this. Now I'm a changed man or a changed woman. That's it. Small steps to giant improvement. This is how you do opening improvement on your own. I want you to motivate you. I do it even with blitz games. You just check blitz games. Maybe that's an exaggeration. You don't have to do with all the... But if you're using this approach, your openings for your blitz should be the ones that you're going to play in over-the-board games. Free practice. So if I play a blitz game and I get in trouble in the opening, I'm happy. Unless I just forgot the line. That is just I'm being stupid. But if they show me a flaw, a mistake, something that I need to work on in a blitz game, and I get in trouble, I'm super grateful that it happened in a blitz game, not in an important over-the-board game, because I'm going to learn my lesson. But if you don't learn your lesson, you're going to do same mistakes over and over and over again. It's only when you learn from your mistakes In one of the previous videos, I showed how to learn from your mistakes, tactical mistakes from each game. Now I'm showing you what to do in the beginning of each game. That's it. The rest of the game, I'm not interested. Find an opening improvement in every game that you play, and this way you will like drag yourself out of the... You can improve solo. You don't need coach to drag you out of dirt, out of badness, right? You can do it to some extent on your own. There are limits to it, but I'm sure many of you are not even close to those limits, and that's what I wish for you. Improve solo, but if you hit a wall and you say, I'm doing this, I can improve, then you can reach out for help, for courses, for coaches, and so on. So I'm glad you're enjoying this content of boring videos. I hope you improve. Good luck. Talk to you in the next video.